Okay.
Hello, everyone. We are back with another session of the Night of Thorns. Last session, we had ourselves a bit of a scruffing up. We'll let the players get into that. I may sound a bit rusty today, and that's because I've got a hangover that could kill a donkey, but we will still be playing. Speaking of killing donkeys, we are going to go straight over to Marisol for a recap from last session.
Yeah. So we went back on the road, heading to Fort Valley. Sarah returned, and Magnus and Estrella went scouting with the orcs. So we got there without them. We were being watched while we traveled, and got there without too much nonsense. But we were greeted at a gate by Sir Roland. I made Sarah the official negotiator for the Night Thorns, so that we're sure that we get paid for whatever we do, and so that she won't do mutiny if I forget to do that. I even made her scroll. So we were sent out to find the other captains of mercenary companies that are working with us. One of them was quite charming, I might add. And then we were attacked. Perhaps you can tell us a bit more about the guy in the woods, Iori?
Yeah, it was like a little undead buddy that was watching us for Calazir. Didn't really do a lot. We just kind of agreed to be left alone, and then he kind of disappeared. Then Calazir kind of talked to Zara for a little bit. I'll let her talk about all of that. And we got into a bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a battle. Like floating archers on the water and things of that nature. It was a pretty good time. And I'll send it over to Zara.
Yeah, Zara came back from the desert, from fighting as a mercenary out there for several days, and popped back in just for us to party again with the undead. Calazir appeared to Zara while she was off in the woods, trying to convince her to work for the mistresses. Zara made the assumption that the undead are working with the hags and tried to whack Calazir with her hammer, but gonna have to invest in some ghost touch so that plan doesn't work out, because it turns out it was just a ghost of Calazir. And then a whole bunch of dudes came out of the water to play footsie with us, and then they all died, because that's what happens when you mess with us. Medor?
Yeah, well, most when we did arrive at the fort, we I informed the Sorolan and the other captains to keep a active patrol along the river, since Calazir and the rest of our undead kind of went into the river. Then I was just scouting around, looking at the areas, and we were attacked. And as usual, we did our usual and kind of make them all dead again, since they're already dead, undead. Land.
Well, took some doing actually, and Marisol almost had a bit of a problem there. You were all downed, weren't you? You had to be saved by the druid of martyrdom. So that was a bit of interesting moment. We didn't expect them to spearhead and go straight for you that way, but obviously we need to have more of a bodyguard around our dear leader. But yeah, we kicked some butt, including myself, going down to the bottom of the river, trying to wrestle dude down there. But unfortunately, didn't get to finish that fight because the whites, it seemed, were the linchpins of the undead force. And when they were taken out, the whole force just vanished into thin air or water. I believe the last thing we left off with was trying to calm the other party down, which is the other people on the other side of the river, which consisted of 2 people. I thought they were a bigger party, but maybe their guys were tied up otherwise. Magnus.
Magnus was off with Estrella last week, so doesn't really have anything to add. The Mara, I believe.
Yes. We made our way to the next city in this place that I don't know the names of, because it's a foreign country to me. Met our other group that we have to work with. Had a nice little scrap with a bunch of undead, who apparently really, really, really want Marisol to die, and we left off with wounds getting treated, talks being had, and fights and sounds of battle off in the distance as well. So I think we probably have other things that we need to do as well. That's it. Am I the last one? Think so. All right, off to you, Shoggoth.
Excellent. Yeah, so you've been chatting with them. They've had their healers come up and heal you all, so currently none of you are injured. It's been about 5 minutes, which time mostly has been spent hearing from runners going here and there, and yeah, from what you're hearing, it was pretty big assault on the camp, both from the river and on the outer perimeters. But thanks to somebody convincing the generals of this army to have watches upon the river and fortify the beaches, so to speak, as well. The assault from the river didn't have that great an effect. Casualties are a lot lighter than you would have assumed they were, although the outer perimeter is still fighting a very large horde of zombies and skeletons and that sort of thing. So currently you and Karin Dreikasahochen, Walter Quatscher, kind of just fortifying your own area of the camp, waiting to hear anything from command, when you can see out of the smoke on the other side of the river a man in gleaming plate armor riding a horse appear out of the mists. It is Magnus.
Magnus takes a look and sees everyone over there and urges his mount over to join them.
Did he just walk on water?
Yep.
Right.
The horse,
Yeah, well.
the horse just rides over the water, over the river with no issue.
Impressive.
Aye, it's, the Bardin was a gift. It allows Etienne to stride on water quite well. Well done, boy. What's been going on?
You know, the usual.
Mayhem. Sounds familiar. We appear to have 2 people I don't know with us.
Captains of the other squads we'll be working with for this campaign.
Indeed. Greetings, sir, and ma'am. Magnus Evalson, Knight of Carissa. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Your companions came in the nick of time and rescued us from the assault. I hope there aren't too many more squads like that one, where there will definitely be casualties among the nobles and leaders of this army. I don't know about you, but I prefer any army we get hired by to be properly led.
Absolutely.
Aye, we would hope so, wouldn't we?
The one behind the attack is intimately familiar with our group, so I would not doubt that they put more of their force to try to take us out than was spared on the rest of the army.
Really? Anybody we should know about?
No one I would worry about too much.
Very well.
They're fixated, as you would say. But definitely keep your guard up. Somebody doesn't like the fact that we're trying to not be dead.
Well, that seems like a good idea to keep doing that.
I would prefer it like that myself.
Aye, is this a friend from the Abbey, Zara?
That's the one. She came and spoke to me right before the attack started, or at least an image of her.
She did? Interesting. Tell me later.
Well, we should definitely clean up camp and see if we can get a watch going. I don't know about you guys, but I need sleep.
I feel fairly fresh. I'll volunteer for first watch.
Improving camp sounds like a good idea in the case. They might come again.
I'll take med as usual.
I'll take last. That way I can sleep the longest.
Right, as you're standing there, one of the soldiers of the brass Order of the Bull comes up with a footman, bloodied. You can see it's a lot of ash and on his face, and he seems very pale, kind of limping. Are you the Night Hedges?
The Night Thorns.
Well, the Special Operations Group, anyway. Well, we need your assistance. Count Claudio's camp has been attacked. It's covered in some sort of mist. We've tried to lead several parties of footmen in there, but none have come back.
Okay.
10
That
more
sounds
minutes.
The enemy's got. They have a foothold there. I don't know what's inside, but we've heard explosions from spells, and one of the survivors said they had a great champion swinging a huge sword before he died from his wounds. I don't hold much hope that Count Claudio is still alive, but our orders were to relieve his camp, and if we couldn't do it, we were to find you.
Okay. We'll have to get ready, but if the druid says 10 more minutes, then I'll trust his judgment on that.
I'm just taking a nap. I was just saying that in my sleep.
Then I will lift up little Edamir. I hope you're in fox form.
Always.
Yeah. Then I'll just carry you.
Stick him on the back of Etienne's room.
Placing you in front of Magnus in the saddle. Okay, show the way.
Well, follow me, please. The two other captains, Karin and Walter, come up to you. Not that I don't trust my own men, Karin says, but if the regular footmen are going in and having absolutely no success, I doubt we'll have much more. We'll guard your left flank, and Walter and And the guiltless gorillas will guard your right.
That sounds good. Thank you.
She hands you a small like flute. Blow on this if you need aid, and we'll come rushing in.
I will.
The least we could do.
I nod to her, I wink at him, and start walking.
Yeah, it's not far. Only takes you about 5 minutes to walk further down the river, away from the main camp, but towards where the lesser nobles have been. You can see many of the camps are on, or all of the camps are on high alert. Some of them are still finishing off various zombies and skeletons as they march on them. They have been put close enough to support each other while still far enough that their soldiers don't get into brawls. But the camp you're heading for, the terrain starts going up a little bit. Not a lot, but there's a hill up in there somewhere. There's heavy mist, so you can barely see 5 feet into it, and you can hear faintly the sound of fiddle music.
This does strike me as a weird time to play the fiddle. Don't you agree?
Interesting.
Can I do a perception to see if I see where the fiddle's coming from? I can see through mist and weather.
Actually, so can I, with my pipe.
Right. Does it allow you to see through magical mist and weather?
1 second.
Working
In
on
game
it.
terms, it's all the same. Unless the magical effect specifically calls out that it prevents normal like penetration. Like magical darkness claim, like straight up says dark vision doesn't work on it. The mist spell has to have the same thing. Other words, it's just magically conjured natural mist.
Actually, I won't, because it's only for smoke. And this was mist.
Somebody smoking a cigarette would be a problem for you then. But let us see here. If I can find a picture for Edamir, because he can actually see through this mist. Dang druids coming here, being all having sight and stuff.
I would
Yeah,
like
you
to
can
do a lore. I'd like to do a lore check on fiddle playing undead.
give us a lore check on fiddle playing undead while
32.
Mr. Tulmar gets or you all get a picture. But yeah, Edamir can see there's a small hill up ahead, surrounded by a copse of trees, and there's an undead creature there fiddling its little heart out, and what few soldiers are still alive, and they are dancing to the fiddle music and not really able to move or do anything. You can see terror on their faces. They are completely defenseless against the undead that are just killing them.
Well, he looks dapper.
Ain't he just, though?
Well, yeah, I don't think you should look dapper anymore.
I'm thinking it should be a pile of bones, so that those men can defend themselves.
I mean, it is a pile of bones.
The only
Yeah.
one that can see him currently is Edamir. The rest of you you can't see much through the smoke.
How far away is it?
But he said he was dapper, so we're just reacting to that.
He's about shit. I gotta go make things visible here. Where'd this sucker go to? Biscuits and biscuit thieves.
And gravy?
Maybe. That sounds pretty great, doesn't it? Where is this, bro? Not you. Oh, there we are. Okay. He is about 65 feet from you.
Hmm. Well, I walk 5 feet forward, and I cast Disrupt Undead on him.
Ookly dookly. So you walk 5 feet forward. Let me see. What's the range on this thing?
That's what I was afraid of.
Nope. Roll your attack, sir. Or is that just a save? I can never remember.
Fortitude save.
Fortitude save. And what is the DC on that?
25, I believe. Let me check. Yep, 25.
That is a critical failure.
Ah.
Oof, that's a lot of.
And he is also enfeebled 1 for 1 round.
Not really irrelevant, because as that thing hits him, he just disintegrates into dust. He has been destroyed, and the film music stops. The soldiers cheer, or they try to cheer. Many of them barely have any breath left. Probably a couple of minutes before they would have died from exhaustion, and they're kind of just sagging down. You can, however, see. Let's find some pictures here. Some more people in that were probably. Huh? What? 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 What is this? Huh. Weird. They don't have any pictures of that. So burning skeletons that with just tatters of whatever they had that was fire resistant, but from the Black Abbey, quite obviously up on the hill. You can see them kind of starting to move towards you in the mist, and we will have ourselves the combat round starting in a moment, although Edamir, being a cheeky git, did manage to get himself around a sneak attack. That being said, though, let's see if we can find some other images. There is a critter here that wants Edamir's life as it moves up and fires at him. And we shall share the map. Let's see here. So that's going to be up there. Edamir's going to have pretty good cover, actually. But it's still going to try. Fires with the longbow, and arrow goes straight for Edamir's head, and then kind of stops in a branch about a foot away from him. Doom, 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 doom. Ooh, there we are. More pictures. His pictures are good. They say that we learn from hearing, seeing, and experience. So, audio, video, disco. But a floaty little gnome comes up. Ooh. You can see he's ethereal and definitely not fully there. And he is going to do something interesting. Let me just find out what. Doom 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 doom. What's this button do?
It's the kill party button.
Shiloh should have read spells before going into the fight. He is going to cast Phantasmal Killer at Edamir.
Oh boy.
So that means I'm going to need a DC 29 will save. As suddenly, Edemir's most terrifying, whatever would terrify Edemir the most, materializes and attacks him. He does manage to fight off whatever it is. I'm going to let you describe what it looks like. But he still takes 16 mental damage and is frightened 1.
It would probably be a mouse that I couldn't eat.
The uneatable mouse. Yep. Shows up and scares the ever-living shit out of Edemir, but he does manage to kind of get himself, get a hold of himself and not die from fright, which was definitely on the table there. Speaking of spellcasters, it's Eodi's turn.
All right. Well, I am going to pat Preacher on the back, and I will cast Haste on him. And then I'm going to step to the side over here. And that will be my turn.
Very well. That takes us to one of these gentlemen, and he is going to come a-running. Let's see, what's that? That's 50 feet up there. He's going to run up to Edemir, just acrobaticsing his way, doing somersaults all the way down that hill, and he is going to try to punch Edemir with his fiery fists. And Edemir dodges. Speaking of dodging, it is Mator's turn.
So I take it I can see what's shown with my character, correct?
Correct, sir.
I'm going to take a shot at the hunter wife with my crossbow.
See, let me open that up. It's weird that you can't see up onto the hill. It's not that tall. There we are. The hunter whites. Yes, shoot at its
Try the roll first before the damage.
It usually helps, and that, however, is most definitely a hit. Let me see if it's a critical. I don't think so. It is not, but it's a hit. Yep, takes one in the shoulder. Would probably have done a lot more damage if it was still alive, but it is inconvenienced by the bolt.
All right, and gonna summon the glaive and step behind Edemir.
Very well. So that's 2 actions. That leaves you with 1 action, sir. Ooh!
Ouch.
Mador comes in with a huge swing. Still, the rocks on the ground are a bit slippery from the mist, so he kind of missteps ever so slightly, and he chops down the bush to the left of Edemir. Edemir no longer has any cover, but it was a very impressive chop. If only it had hit something that was actually an enemy. See, let me remove this fiddler because he dead. That's annoying. I was hoping to see some of you doing the line dance today. This burning monk is going to be running up, screaming in agony all the way as if he is on fire, and it hurts a lot. And then he is going to howl in agony, meaning that everybody within 15, so that'd be actually only Edemir and Mador, gonna need to give me a DC 19 will save. So, Mador takes 12 fire damage, and Edemir takes 6 fire damage as the screech of pain almost combusts you. Oh, the Necro Dancer. Why didn't I make that joke? I am ashamed of myself. This guy's just going to come running up, screaming all the way. And same with this bro. I'm on fire. A type of adventure that didn't listen when the healer said don't stand in bad stuff. And then we have this individual towering over the others.
Yikes.
You can see mist kind of trailing from his blade. Otherwise, it's very hot here and humid, but this individual obviously is very, very large. Probably was a human at some point from the look of him, but some sort of necromantic shenanigans has enlarged him to the point where he is the size of an ogre. He is simply going to take out his longbow, and he is going to shoot at Yodi. Pretty much within range increments. Yes, he is. Nyum. That's a hit. That's another hit. And I believe that's a miss. The last one kind of plings off of Yodi's defenses, but the first two large arrows hit him. Yodi can feel a deathly cold, as they don't just cause piercing damage, but also frostburn, for a total of 35 damage. Do you have any frost resistance?
No, only 5.
Alright. So 35 damage total to Yodi from that longbow. And now it's Zara's turn. I did actually forget that you were rolling for the fiddler there. It's not really combat relevant, but you can get the info if you want it.
Not super worrisome because he did.
Very well.
Did it again.
Yeah. Edamir kind of snuck up and oops, I did it again, him in the face with that Disrupt Undead. But it is Zara's turn.
Zara is going to move here.
Nyum.
I'm going to make a duplicate of myself on the other side of the Bernie boy right here.
Very well.
And then we're going to give her the old whammo.
The old Whammerino. The whammoning. God, wham will travel. Let us see there. That is a hit. Is it? It is a critical.
It is a critical?
It is a critical, sir. 34. Do you have any special things happening when you get a critical?
He is prone.
Yeah, so Zara kind of just knocks him straight in the back, and he goes down. Is lying on the ground currently.
And that would be my 3 actions.
Right. That takes us to Preacher.
Very well. I was admiring the Grave Knight a little bit. I'm gonna move up here and help this fire person to his final rest. Spend 1 action on going into my stance, 1 action on the actual movement, and then a flurry of blows.
That is a hit and a hit.
Very well. Damage wise, they are taking extra fire damage, but I don't think they actually do they?
You can be pretty certain of that. Yeah, fire damage don't really do much here. They are on fire, so if they took fire damage, they would already have been very much sent to the eternal
Gotcha.
rest.
My last one is going to be a fist strike and a combat grab, so I'm going to grab onto that guy.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And he takes an additional 12. So if he tries to escape or succeeds to escape, either way, get an attack opportunity.
Right. Do you have any fire resistance?
Yes, I do. I ignore 3 fire resistance.
Or ignore 3 points of fire damage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you take just 2 points of fire damage, because holding on to him isn't super pleasant, as he is on fire.
Okay.
But yeah, being made of clay, you're not as susceptible to that as you could have been. Which brings us to Tumult.
All right. I am going to reach back, pat Magnuson on the leg and go forth in the name of Apollo and fuck their shit up and cast heroism on him.
Very well. What does that button do?
That gives him a +1 status bonus to attack rolls, perception checks, saving throws, and skill checks for the next 10 minutes.
Okay. Not bad.
Go forth and champion.
Very well. Is Temple going to do anything else?
Draw my falchion and take a step in front of Marisol.
Okay. Speaking of taking steps, it is Edamir's turn.
Yes, I will let out a little fox yip and 5-foot step back in between Medora's legs. And cast Disrupt Undead on the prone one.
Ah, very well. The prone one. I was smacked by, let's see. Doom. That is a critical failure. That is a lot of damage.
He is also enfeebled one.
Enfeebled one, thank you. I'll add that effect to him. Yeah, he does not like that for sure. He's still animated, but you can see that the binding is starting to weaken. The little bits of pieces of him are crumbling off.
Roran will move up and take a bite at him also.
Very well. Roran's starting to be a big boy. That is a hit. And yeah, the guy, as Roran moves up and takes a bite out of the prone guy, kind of crushes his skull, and he is gone. This just crumbles into dust.
And that'll be my turn.
You can see sort of like specks of purplish necromantic energy. You can lift off him like a cloud of flies as the binding holding him kind of breaks up. That takes us to Magnus.
Question, is Magnus still mounted or did he dismount?
Only you can answer that question.
I didn't say I'd dismounted. Very well. Magnus lifts his shield into position, steadies his lance, and charges at the nearest flaming guy in front of Eodi.
Roar. Very well. That is a critical, sir. Now, does the Alliance have any special abilities on the charge? We have barely ever done mounted combat in 2nd edition, so I honestly can't answer.
All I know is it's deadly D8.
Right.
That is my role.
I need you to remove your line range. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, he is properly poked.
It has Jousting D6. When mounted, if you moved at least 10 feet on the action before your attack, add a circumstance bonus to damage for that attack equal to the number of damage dice for the weapon. In addition, while mounted, you can wield the weapon in one hand. So he gets
That'd
plus,
be
Okay,
5d6.
2d6. Is it 5? Wow.
Oh,
No,
it's
so
one per dice, and you just rolled a critical. Huh?
it's +1 for each damage dice on the weapon, so a +2. And if he wants to, he can use it as a one-handed as a D6 weapon instead of two-handed as a D8.
Gotcha.
No, right. Okay. We'll stick with the D8.
Well, 2d6 then. In that case, you're using the lines one-handed as well, as you are aware. Two-handed.
Yes.
2 more damage. Well, it's something. I mean...
Yep, it is.
He's poked. He's not enjoying that.
Okay. And I think I have one action left. Magnus will dismount, and as he climbs down, he says to Etienne, "Good boy. Go stay with Master Yodi. The dragon. Go on with you."
Yeah, the horse trots back and stands with Master Yodi. Clops back. Oakley. That takes us to Marisol.
Yeah. So Marisol steps while she hefts her new slug rifle, aims at the Grave Knight,
Mm-hmm.
and shoots.
75, I believe that's within one, or the second range increment, so that's going to be a 29. The slug actually hits him in the chest, but pings off of his chest plate, not causing any damage.
75. You told me it was a 75, so it's
Oh.
perfectly within the correct
In that
increment.
case, it actually injures him. Roll your damage, ma'am.
I'd have moved further if I had to, so 19.
That's a fair shot. Boom! Causes some damage. And that takes us all the way around to the Hunter White. And it can see that there's a lot of threats around here. Why? Sorry about that. It is going to shoot 3 times at Sora. First one is Sora, if I remember correctly. First one is a hit. Second shot is a hit. Third shot's it. Damn. Okay. So it managed to hit Sora with all 3 arrows for a total of 31 damage. So it deftly places 3 shots straight into Zora's back. And this Zenith is a ghost. Scooby boop boop doo. No, I don't think so. Don't think so, no. The ghost is going to point its finger at Zara, and I'm going to need a DC 29 Fortitude save as it casts a Ray of Enfeeblement. Ooh. Small dog is going ham. Sorry about that. Let's see. Enfeebled 2. That has been cast, and that has been cast. And that's what it's going to be doing, which takes us to Iodi.
Yes. Well, I have 2 arrows sticking out of me, and I'm not feeling amazing at this moment. So I'm going to take a step. I'm going to take a step here next to Preacher. I'm going to pat myself on the chest, and a bunch of mirror images of Iodi pop out.
Ooh. Doom. Very nice. How many?
I think it's 4. Hold on.
There you go. What you doing?
It is 3 images, it looks like.
Pew. Okay.
Yep, 3 images.
Very good. So suddenly, Preacher's surrounded by small Iodis. Standing pretty much everywhere.
What the?
Come on the lap, girl. Yeah, come on Dad's lap. Place to be. For small dogs. Takes us to Mador. It is your turn, sir.
All right, I'm going to swing on the flaming guy in front of Preacher. Or
Gotcha.
Rowan, whichever.
Let's see. He is flanked, so that's a hit.
He's also flat-footed.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'm holding him.
That's definitely a hit. Yeah. He's being held fast, so definitely a hit. Preacher's kind of holding him immobile. He's pretty easy to hit. He's still up, though. Oh dear. As you are swinging at something Preacher's holding, the monk kind of twists, and the glaive hits Preacher's upper arm instead. Roll your damage, please, sir. That's 15 damage to Preacher.
Ow. Not me. Him.
Last one, however, is a hit. So roll your damage. There we go, and the burning monk, crumbles as the magical binding is broken by repeated glaive strikes. It takes us to this gentleman. Let's see. Preacher, Eodi, and Magnus. I'm gonna need a DC 19 will save from each of you. He screams out in flaming agony.
Let's see.
The Preacher takes no damage. Magnus takes no damage. And Eodi takes 7 fire damage. And then he is going to punch at Magnus. That is one. Oh wow, that pings straight off. First fist pins straight off his armor, and so does the second. This Magnus easily tanks that damage. Or the other bow here is going to move straight up to Preacher, and he is going to howl in agony as well. Meaning pretty much everybody except for Marisol and Temult need to give me a DC 19 will save.
Nope.
Much more scary and dangerous this time. Gonna need one from Eodi as well, I'm afraid. But yeah, successful save is 6 fire damage. Not successful save is 13. The agonizing screams of this thing hurt you straight to your core. And,
How much was it failed?
13 fire.
Okay, reducing it.
Right, and then he is going to try to punch Preacher. And that's a good punch. Is it good enough? It is. He actually does smack Preacher for 12 bludgeoning. And Preacher catches fire, so that's 1d6 persistent fire on the monk's turn. The Grave Knight is going to keep going with his longbow, shooting at Eodis. 26. 30, 26. Takes out 2 of the mirror Eodis and misses the third. It is now Zara's turn.
Zara is going to pull out her wand of blur, tap herself on the nose, and then become much harder to target. As
Very
I
well.
cast Shoggoth's Nightmare on myself. And then I'm going to move to here.
Shoggoth's Nightmares. Is the world suddenly out of beer?
No, you have to roll twice every time you want to attack me.
All right. Fighting with disadvantage. Lovely.
Yeah, it's the flat 5 to make an attack against me.
See, that is going to take 2 moves for him, and he might as well go the entire way there. Herko shouts an orcish war cry, something about somebody's mother looking like an elf, and he storms at that flaming monk that's threatening Eodi. And bull rushes him straight off his feet. And that's going to be his turn, taking us to Preacher. That burning monk by Herko is now prone, by the way.
Do I take the D6 in the beginning or the end of the round?
The beginning. I'll let you roll it, because that's more fun.
We shall roll that inside the bucket because that was a 1. Hey, I rolled a 1 anyway.
Yeah,
So I
no
ignore
damage
that.
at all. Yep.
Then I'm gonna make like a comet and rush up. I'm gonna hope I can actually hit the ghost. I have no idea if I can.
Nyom. Okay.
How high is that hill?
That hill is high enough that I'm going to need a DC 15 athletics for you to just rush up it the way you just did.
Okay. It's gonna be skills and athletics, and I think I made it.
Yes. No issue whatsoever.
Okay, so that was my hasted round. So I'm gonna try and lay into him with a flurry of blows. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to hit him. I don't know yet. There we go.
Those are 2 hits.
Nice.
Yeah, you can feel the first blow, even though it hits, doesn't actually really do anything because the ghost is just barely there. The second one does just a bit of damage, but not very much.
Okay, we'll
This
try
thing is not really part of reality the way it should be.
We'll try a bit of bludgeoning though. Let's see if this works a little bit better.
That's it. Well, still another slight bit of damage to it, but
And
you're
finally,
not meeting the resistance you feel like you should be meeting. This thing is obviously not that easy to hit with regular weapons. Being a ghost, there's a reason there's such things as ghost touch runes.
Yep.
Last one is a miss, taking us to Temult.
All right. In a bright flash of divine energy, everyone within 30 feet, which includes the 2 burning skeletons, is getting the effects of heal, which, because of feats that I have, I roll a d10. Plus 8.
Very well.
Which is a lot. Everybody gets 17.
Yeah, both of those burning monks are obviously quite injured by it. And everybody else gets 17 back. What in the world? Give me a moment. What's Tiny Dog doing right now?
You only get the +8 on the 2 action.
Yep.
You sure?
100.
Yep.
And 10%.
It'd be too good if you could do the AoE with the flat bonus. 2
So
action
everybody
is your
just heals.
strong heal.
Yep. Everybody just heals 9,
9.
and they only
My
take
bad.
9.
No
My
worries.
bad.
No worries. We did that with Magnus 4 or 5 ago. So
My bad.
Lunch and what?
Yeah, it was the cleric last campaign, so I'm intimately familiar with that spell because it's about the only thing I ever cast.
Gotcha.
Usually on myself.
There we go. Tiny Dog had decided that the remnants of our lunch looked very nominal.
Little retcon, they only took 9 damage. And we only healed 9.
Very well.
I misread the spell. Sorry.
That's fine. These things happen. It is Edamir.
I will cast heal on Yodi. For 27.
Very nice.
I will come between his legs and look up at him like I want pets.
Gotcha.
Roran will move and attack.
Right, that enemy is prone as well, so that is a critical hit. Another good piece of damage to that enemy.
And that'll be my turn.
That takes us to Magnus.
Magnus still holding his lance, so he lets have the flaming gentleman in front of him.
That's a hit.
And then he'll do it again.
So one good smack for mankind. And the other one's also a hit. This Magnus kind of just pushes that lance through the enemy's head, and it falls down, disintegrating.
Okay, and on his last turn, he's going to stow the lance, ready to draw his saber on the next turn.
Gotcha. Marzal.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a deep breath and shoot again at the monstrosity in front of us.
Very well. That's a hit. Boonch. Let's see, the breastplate takes just a slight dent. So that shot hits.
And then I'm gonna aim, ready for a next shot.
Okay then. And the Hunter White. Still going to be targeting Zara. She's getting to be unpleasantly close. And first shot's a miss.
Don't forget you have to roll a flat 5 before you roll your attack roll.
Right. Second shot would have been a hit, but our flat 5 didn't work. Goes into the blur. And the third shot goes into the blur. Son of a biscuit thief. The Ghost Mage is going to cast a Cone of Cold at Preacher, so I'm going to need a DC 29 Reflex.
Reflex, you got it, boss.
Ooh.
Ooh. Hang on. I have a circumstance bonus on +1 versus arcane. This is definitely arcane.
It is. So that's a success, meaning you have a critical success.
Yeah, actually.
Pretty certain you can ignore the entire Cone of Cold. Let me check. Yep. No damage whatsoever. The Cone of Cold, Preacher gets Cone of Colded, and he just kind of shrugs it off. You're no longer on fire.
Arcane safeguards. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're no longer on fire, so you got that going for you.
Thank you.
Let me see. Let it go. Let it go. It still has one action left after that, so it's going to try to touch Preacher inappropriately. With its ghostly hand, that is a hit for 19 negative energy damage.
What was the level of the previous spell? Because I did get a temporary hit point bonus.
5.
So I'll deduct that and take 14 this time.
Very well. This thing seems unhappy about the situation currently. Next is Eodi.
Well, there's a tiny fox between my legs, so I'm gonna pat it on its head.
As one does.
There's a horse
And
nickering at your sleeve as well.
what I will do is
You healed
heal for
19.
19. And I'm going to... I'm going to chuck a fireball up at this big man who has shot me multiple times at this point.
Aha.
So So that would be a 25 reflex save for the ghost and the big boy.
Very well. And home. Doom, 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 doom. Roll your damage, sir. The ghost seems entirely untouched by the fireball, but the big boy does take a bit of damage from it.
And that will be my turn.
The Grave Knights. And that takes us to Mador.
All right. I'm moving up 2 behind Ron. Take a swing at the flaming guy.
Gotcha. He is prone as well. And that's a big old critical.
He's prone again. Well, I think that's what I can do.
Yeah, so roll your damage, sir. 4. Okay, well, Mador just moves up and takes his head straight off with the glaive. Yep. He's gone.
So I got one more action. I'm going to move up 25 feet to here.
Gotcha. The Grave Knight is going to step up. Now that he's closer, you can see that the armor he's wearing and the greatsword he's wielding both have the icons of the Raven Guard on them, so must be one of some Raven Guard knightly champion that's been relifed or undeaded. Raised, yes, that's the word we usually use. Thank you, Shoggoth, for the braining. And he is going to swing his Frost Greatsword at Preacher. First one there is a hit. Smacks Preacher for 30 damage. 6 of them cold damage if you have any resistances.
I do. So, it's an even 80.
And then he's going to swing at Preacher again. And this time Preacher actually dodges the blow. Impressive. Takes us to Zara.
Zara's going to run up that hill. She has assurance and athletics, so she automatically can do anything that is below a 23.
Yeah, Zara just easily runs up that hill. No stress whatsoever.
I'm going to do an esoteric lore on this guy.
Go for it. Still a 21. Yeah, you're getting to be good at your lores. Yeah, this is one of the most powerful types of wights, known as a hunter wight. Usually, some very well-known hunter or archer that's been raised as a wight. They have the usual undead immunities: death, disease, paralyzed, poison, unconscious. They are much better at long range and short range, usually, but at short range they can actually drain life and heal themselves with their claws. And when they are destroyed, they tend to explode, injuring or killing whoever took them down, if it's in melee. No specific weaknesses, so it's just got a weakness to you currently.
Excellent. And for my last action, I will do the old whammo.
That's a critical. WH Hammo. Yeah, that wight takes it good. And it's knocked on its ass from the power of Zara's hand. In addition to taking a mighty blow. Herko looks back at Preacher. Are you safe, my small scaly friend?
What? You mean Eodi, right?
Yeah.
Because you said preacher, so I was confused.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Eodi just kind of nods his head as he's like looking at the arrows sticking out of him.
I will avenge the insult to your person. And he's going to move up, and he's going to try to climb up that hill in his full plate armor. Which he does easily, bounding up, and now flanking the Grave Knight, which more easier to have it there to show that it takes up a lot of squares. But he doesn't get to do anything. It is now Preacher's turn.
Okay. On my haste round, I'll put out one of Eodi's lovely potions and chug it. So, minor elixir of life. That was a double D8, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Was there anything else plus that, Tulmar?
I think it's +4.
So 15. That's a fair bit of chunk. So here we go. And then I'll do what I always try to do and always fail at. Let's see if it changes this time. Warm up. Time for some key force. Charging out my fists and trying to let the ghost have a little bit of positive energy into its own life.
Very well.
So the lesser elixir of life is 3d6 plus 6 hit points.
Nice.
Okay. Do you want me to reroll that?
No, we'll just add 5 hit points to it, because that'd be the average.
Okay. So there, and flurry of blows.
That is 1 hit and 1 miss.
And this guy is going to take this plus 2d6 of positive life force.
Yeah, hitting it with positive energy damage, you can feel the full force of your blow connecting, and it kind of gets like old-timey TV static for a moment before recoalescing. That seems very effective.
Do it twice more, I hope.
That is a hit.
That's a regular fist. And the bonus 2 dice is going to be...
Well, even though you just glance it, you can feel that it's still a much better hit than what were clean hits without the positive energy last turn.
And the last punch is probably a miss.
That's a miss.
I'm done.
That's a miss-a-rooney even. Big ol' miss. Temolt, Zavu.
I'm going to move up to Eodi and the Fox. And I am going to, thankfully, due to Ward Medic and Battlefield Medicine, treat both their wounds.
Yeah,
So
just come.
Combat. And
Comes running up with the bandages and the super glue.
yes, exactly. And I believe that's just a medicine check. I think. Yes.
Well then.
Just still a 17.
It's gonna be let's see, that's gonna be not too much. Let me do the Googles. The Googles. I've got this on the GM screen, but I don't have the GM screen up right now. Give me some numbers here somewhere. I'm gonna say that's gonna be a 1d8 heal. It's a very bad roll. It's something. Looks like Looks like Eodi at least no longer has any scruffs as you come up and give him a small band-aid. And then we have Edamir. It's his turn.
Could I get Tumult to get off my token so I can move it, please? Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
I will move up to there
Very well.
and cast Disrupt Undead on the ghost. 25 fortitude.
Very well. And that is positive energy, isn't it?
Yes.
Fortitude 22. Scuba-doop-a-doop-doo. That is a critical fail. Wow. We're going to need a 1 counter for the GM as well soon.
And enfeebled 1.
Yeah, that thing takes a massive amount of damage from that. It's obviously very injured now from all of the positive energy you guys keep pumping into it. Seems like ghosts may not like positive energy. Who would have thought? Was that Edamir's turn?
Moving Roaring. What check is it to get up there?
That's going to be a DC 15 athletics. I'm going to say it's a DC 12 for Roaring because he's got 4-wheel drive.
And he is going to take a bite. Or try.
Very well. That is a miss. He does, however, take a hit from the attack of opportunity.
Yep.
Which he smacked with the greatsword for 46 damage.
Oof.
7 of them cold damage.
Alright. That'll be my turn.
Gotcha. That takes us to minus. Rule Britannia. See what minus can do.
The rule center. Magnus is going to. Etienne is behind Eodi, isn't he?
That is correct.
Okay. Magnus is going to call Etienne to him. Here, boy.
Yeah.
And then spend an action remounting. And then he's going to move his 40 feet over to here.
Very well. Clop, 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 clop. Anything else?
Yeah, he's going to spend another turn moving over to this ramp here.
Very well.
There we go. That's my turn.
Cavalry. Who would have thought it? Marisol, it is your turn, ma'am.
I know, right?
Then I shoot again.
Kablamo. That is a miss. The attack just pings off the armor of the Grave Knights.
Then we aim and shoot again.
Very well.
And miss again.
And pings off again. And I believe that was 4 shots. So now you're going to have to need to reload.
Yep, that was my turn.
Right. The Hunter White, not super happy about having Sarah up in its business, in its grill, and so on and so forth. It's going to try to claw the shit out of Sarah with his claws.
He's not going to try to stand up? What a fool.
That was a miss. That was a miss. He's not dumb, so he is going to try wow. Okay, he does not actually have that. He's just going to stand up then and eat that attack of opportunity. That's a critical.
And because it was a critical, he doesn't get to stand up.
Nope. Big old hammer straight down on his back, and he is prone again. Not having the time of his life. I've had... What in the heck does this spell actually do? Ooh. Hello. That is going to be a DC 29 will save for Yodi. As the ghost casts a spell at him. Oops. And suddenly, you don't know what's happened, but your situation is very, very dire. Obviously, because everybody... actually not. That's going to affect... See, Marisol, Mador, Preacher, Zara, and Magnus have obviously been turned into undead, and they're planning to kill you.
This is what happens when I make the save, huh?
That was a DC 29. It looked like you rolled a 27 to me.
Oh, I thought you said 25, my bad.
I must have mumbled. My bad. I'll try to enunciate my words like a fucking lady.
Oh my.
And the ghost again touches Preacher for another 20 negative energy. You can try to choose to disbelieve the illusion when it's your turn, because it is a hallucinate spell. But if you can't, I'm guessing Eodi is gonna do whatever Eodi feels like doing in that sort of situation. Speaking of Eodi, it is his turn.
Well, obviously the fox in front of me is dangerous as hell.
Fox, actually, the Fox and Tumult aren't affected by that spell, because it can only kind of go for one type of body type, and the small furry ones aren't affected by the hallucination.
So Mador then and Marisol, you said?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Mador, but I'm going to have to Ray of Frost you now.
Ray of Frost goes out for Mador, and that is just about a hit.
Is it actually a hit?
It is an actual hit, yes. Mador suddenly feels very cold, taking 18 cold damage from Yodi, Ray of Frosting him in the butt.
And then I'm going to do the Lyle, and I'm going to combat roll over by this bush for no reason.
Very well.
And that's my turn.
Very well. What was that 3d6 Preacher?
I was storing a roll and it accidentally misclicked.
Ah, okay. Very well. Mador, it is your turn, sir.
How high is this hill in front of me?
10 feet.
Okay. So I do have reach still.
You do still have reach.
Occupying 4 squares, correct?
Come again?
The Grey Knight is actually occupying 4 squares,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay, I'm not putting myself right against him.
You'd have to go there if you want to
Okay.
be able to have reach to him,
I
because it's
just want
10
to make
feet.
sure.
So
I'm going to spin the glaive.
you can just about hit him in the legs from where you are currently. That hits the armor, but bounces off.
Including being flanked.
Yes. Oh, that, however, is a hit. It is not a critical, but it's a hit. For 10 damage. Yeah, smack him in the. You smack him in the leg. He seems to be somewhat surprised and ever so slightly pissed off. By that.
That's my moves.
Very well. The Grave Knight. He's got all sorts of fun things he can do, doesn't he? So he is actually gonna move up here, and that's gonna give Mador and Herko an attack of opportunity each, as he is moving on their turn from a threatened square. And that is a hit from Mador. Smack him for another 16. And then he is going to drop a devastating blast. That's going to be hitting Roran and Herkov. That's a DC 29 reflex save.
Oof.
Oof. So that is 49 cold damage to Roran.
Roran is down.
Let me see. Roll some saves. You gotta roll the saves, bro. Herkov seems to have weathered it a bit better than Roran, but he's definitely gonna need something hot to drink afterwards. And that was the Grave Knight. Zara.
Flanking and prone do not stack, right?
I do not believe so. Actually,
Yeah.
why wouldn't they?
That's both the flat-footed condition.
All right, there we are. Well, in that case,
That just means I can swing more often.
that's a critical. Wow, Sarah's just bullying this white currently.
Some bitch shot me.
Yeah, and that is all it's gonna take. Zara just smashes that thing straight through the chest, leaving a crater in the ground as the white kind of disintegrates from the force of the blow.
Then I will move here.
Nyum.
And I will do a lore check on the ghost.
Very well. Yeah, that is definitely the ghost of a gnome wizard. Probably about 100 years since he died, from the look of the clothing. And obviously a very powerful one from the type of spells he's yeeting out. Sarah knows these things can fly. They're incorporeal, so they have massive resistance to all damage except for force, ghost touch, or positive. Double resistance versus non-magical, meaning non-magical weapons probably won't be able to even touch it. It can moan and scream, and that would probably frighten the shit out of people. And if it's out of spells, it can still do the usual ghost thing with the telekinetic assault, just throwing everything around it at people for a fair amount of damage. Very, very dangerous enemy, but also very weak to force ghost touch and positive energy.
So, no baked-in weakness?
No baked-in extra damage weakness, no, except for force, ghost touch, and positive ghost bypasses ethereal and its damage resistance.
Oh, he is weak 5 to me then. And that'll be my turn.
Very well. Herko is going to pick up Roran and actually try to jump down and bring him over to Edamir. Let us see what his athletics check looks like. Easy enough for him to pick up Roran and get down, and then that is a full move. Yeah, he's going to bring Roran over and place him on the ground next to Edamir. Your tiny fox friend is your dog. Now I must go back into fight. And then he is turning
Thank
around
you.
and heading back. Preacher.
Well, this guy is not going down easy, but I'm going to try again. Lost key force points. I'm going to try and kick his ass. Power blows first.
Very well.
And there we go.
Two hits.
Sorry for the extra math.
That's okay. That is enough that he screams out in undead rage and dissipates.
Oof. I spend my remaining 2 actions this round to chug 2 of the minor elixirs because I am deeply hurt.
Kind of cracked, yeah. This is true.
Yeah. 2 of those, and that's 3d6 plus 6. So I'm just going to roll 3d6 once, twice, and add up 12.
26, 38.
38. Excellent.
Very nice. That takes us to Temelt.
All right. I am going to run up here next to Roran the Fox and Hercule. As I pass Ioti, I'm going to say, aim at the big undead one, not our friends, please. There we go. Sorry, that took a little bit to track.
Don't be worried. Just remember, I need to actually press go for your moves. So,
yeah.
If I'm a bit distracted, it takes a little while.
I am going to attempt a expert heal check on Roran.
Very well. Just be aware, usually my mind runs on like an i7 processor. Today I'm at an Amiga. Old Amiga processor is doing the work here. I've got maybe 4 kilobytes of braining going. Oof! That is a failure. You can't do anything. He looks like he's frozen. You should probably apply fire.
Which I don't have.
And that takes us to Edamir.
Edamir will cast his focus spell, Heal Animal. And heal Roran for 49.
Yeah, Roran gets up and licks Edamir's sides of Edamir's mouth. Seems very thankful for the heal. And that takes us to, well, do you have anything more you want to do?
Yep. Roran will use an action to stand and then run back up here.
Right. It's going to be another DC 15, not 12, since he's got 4-wheel run. Athletics. So, failing it on a 1, I believe. He's fine. Easily gets up there.
And I will move to there.
Roran's a big dog. 10 feet is barely... He can jump that pretty easily.
And that'll be my turn.
Takes us to Magnus.
Magnus trots Etienne up the ramp there, up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Very well.
Draws his lance again and claps down the visor on his armor.
I'm assuming he's planning on charging.
He is. To there.
Right, and that is within reach of the lance. That's a miss. He easily dodges the lance as it comes in. Marisol.
Yeah, so my rifle is empty. So I'm just going to push it up my sleeve and pull out the Eyes of the Sky instead.
Very well.
Then I will aim, and I will swear to kill that thing.
Right. Normally, it'd be very difficult. Normally, you wouldn't have a shot, but this thing's about 9 feet tall. So even having pulled back on into the hill, you can see its upper body.
Yeah, that's what I figured. He was so big.
That's going to be a -4 to the shot, though, because he's got half cover. You can only see the upper
No,
body.
I'm aiming, so he doesn't get cover at all.
All right, you're a sniper, so you don't care about that. You don't care about rules. Fair enough.
Nope.
So that's not going to be a minus anything,
It's actually going to be a +2.
because you're a snipper. Very well, let's hope you don't set yourself on fire again. No, you won't, because that is a critical.
I'm going to roll the other one just to see if it's a 20. And it was not. Critical it is.
Critical hit it is. Whew. Yeah, that hits him straight in the head. Kind of plinks off his helmet, but he's still both injured and on fire.
Yes. Yes, he is. Then I'm going to reload.
Probably not enjoying life significantly much. EOD, it is your turn.
With the ghost dead, am I still convinced that everybody's undead?
Nope, they look perfectly fine to you now. You're pretty certain it cast some sort of spell on you.
Fair enough. I will do a 3-action magic missile onto the big boy on the hill.
Very well. Okay, well, close to full.
Pew pew!
As usual, the magic missile, while a humble spell, does a heck of a lot of damage. And that's EOD's turn. That takes us to Mador.
Okay, I'm gonna proceed up the hill.
Right, that's a DC 15 athletics. Get up there. Ah, yeah, easy. Mador pulls himself up without even being slowed down.
And move there and swing.
Gotcha. That is a hit. For 16. Good damage, good damage. Seems to have effect on targets.
Do I get a second one here, or
Yes, you do, sir. Oof. Second one, definitely not a good strike. He parries it hard enough that the glaive kind of is knocked back, and Roran now has a side cut on the right half of his head. But he's uninjured, he just has a weird haircut. It's the Grave Knight's turn. He salutes Mador with his sword. Ah, little knight, your order will be destroyed within a fortnight. Then he is going to go ham on Mador with his sword. That is one hit. He actually goes into with an overhead chop for Mador, fastens his sword in the ground, and then just proceeds to punch Mador with his fist instead. So from the sword strike that hit Mador, that is 26 damage, 5 of them cold damage. Oh, wrong damage roll. And from the fist, that is 15 damage, 1 of them cold damage. A total of 41. This thing is powerful, as you can easily feel. That takes us to Zara.
Yes, Zara doesn't like getting hit when walking towards things, so she's just going to make a duplicate of herself that's suddenly standing next to the Grave Knight. We're going to do the lore check.
That's a good lore check. Yeah, the Grave Knight, very, very clearly in one of the champions or generals of the undead army with the power of a Grave Knight. often being they're often more powerful than whatever vampires or other things. Or a regular vampire can't stand up to a Grave Knight in close combat. Got the usual undead immunities: cold, death, disease, paralyzed, poison, unconscious. One of the things that makes them really, really scary is that they have the sacrilegious aura. So any divine spells or positive spells cast within 30 feet will it automatically gets a counter rolled for to counterspell it. They usually have some sort of energy that they're tied to. And this one obviously tied to cold. Can summon phantom mounts. And you know there's something with the armor. But you're not entirely certain what, because you didn't roll high enough. Pretty certain it's cursed in some way or another, though. No weaknesses, except a weakness to you, currently. And he does block, or parry, Zara's Shatter Talon as it comes in.
And that'll be my turn.
Yeah. Hetrical shouts out another orc war cry and is going to sprint. Actually comes flying up, but he's in very heavy armor, so that is going to be all of his 3 turns just getting up to where he can kind of flank this thing, and he is going to eat an attack of opportunity. Being an orc, however, he doesn't care too much about that sort of thing. Oh, wait, he doesn't have his sword currently. He does get punched. You can hear ribs crack as he gets smacked, but he's still in the fight. Speaking of in the fight, it is Preacher's turn.
Very well. I'm going to be spending 2 move actions because I don't want to get an attack opportunity. So back here, first one.
Very well.
And then straight in on him. Yeah. Sorry, I was moving.
That's fine.
Flurry of blows to begin with. The last attack is going to be a little bit special. Let's see now.
Okay.
First off is flurry.
That is 1 hit. And yeah, Preacher comes in, manages to punch straight into the faceplate to crumple the skull inside there, and the Grey Knight inside of the armor just disintegrates. The armor is still there, though. Just falls in a clattering heap of pieces on the ground.
Second attack was supposed to be a grapple. Damn it! I forget to grapple.
Ah, well. Looking around now that the fight is starting to, or has wound down, the mist is dissipating, and some soldiers are cheering. And, now that they can see that you've defeated whatever was up there, but most of them are just struck dumb by the sheer carnage. You can see that there's at least 150, 200 maybe men-at-arms and soldiers that have been killed by this band that you just took out. The carnage is difficult to comprehend. There's body parts and frozen corpses in a circle all the way around the hill. You can also see the count that you were coming up to save here. It seems like he put up a good fight. You can see 2 of those hunter whites inside of the building destroyed. And many more of the burning skeletons, but him and his bodyguard obviously weren't able to stand up to the ghost and the Grave Knights. And it looks like a charnel house inside there.
Let's gather up the survivors. I'm gonna reload all my weapons in case of an ambush again.
Yeah.
triaging the wounded.
Yeah, Magnus is going to join Tumult in performing triage on survivors.
Yeah, the few men at arms that survived the dancing or exhausted, but the undead hadn't gotten around to actually injuring them. You can see that they've got that 1,000 yards there. Probably going to need some strong grog to get back into fighting shape.
I'm gonna go up to one of the men at arms that was dancing and start dancing as a tiny fox.
All right.
I'm going to take 2 of Tulmar's potions.
Yeah, give us a diplomacy roll there, Adamir. Yeah, the antics of the tiny fox actually seem to be cheering the men at arms up. Oh, that is 34 back to Mador from the potions. Looking around, you have the advantage of being slightly higher up now, while most of the army doesn't seem to have taken significant losses, having been ready actually for an attack from the river. You can see there are at least 3 more buildings like this where several men at arms have been killed before they got control of the situation. 2 of them, one you see all 9 of the Cavaliers of Nosans having defeated from the wreckage and the damage, probably the same type of force that you fought. And over on the tallest hill with some fortifications, you can see the Marquis himself and his bodyguard and his personal chaplain having defeated another one of these forces. Yeah, the 2 mercenary companies with you are setting up a perimeter on your right and left. And it doesn't take more than maybe 10 minutes while you're doing triage and that sort of thing until Sir Roland comes riding up, obviously having seen his fair share of combat. He takes his helmet off and nods his head at your group. Well, Captain Barlow, it seems that we were not wrong in placing our trust in your group. You have, while the Count did not survive, at least you managed to take out the enemy, yes. And with no losses on your own side. It's very impressive.
Thank you, sir.
That's why we make the big bucks.
I'm gonna scratch your ears.
Do you want healing from that?
No, I don't need it.
Well, Captain Barlow, the danger, it seems to have been taken care of for now. If your company would do us the honor of holding this hill and building, it was supposed to be one of the strongholds in our plan. The Count and his bodyguards were fierce fighters, but sadly no match for the wizardry of whatever attacked them. Did you also face a ghostly wizard and a recent champion?
Yes, we did. The remains of the champion. Well, his armor is over there.
Very worrisome. I fought many creatures throughout my entire life. Undead every now and then. They didn't used to be very common, and they never ever worked in anything looking like a unit before.
Make sure that you go around and collect all of the armor from those fallen knights and have the armor destroyed. I'm not exactly sure what about it is wrong, but you don't want anyone wearing it.
I trust you, Zara, I do, but I'm gonna need you to come with me and try to convince the knightly orders that we can destroy artifacts from their orders. They will not take kindly to the suggestion, even though, personally, I believe you. You have given me no reason not to.
If they won't destroy it, make sure that they place it in a mausoleum under, some sanctification. We just don't want any of the younger knights looking at the armor and being like, "Oh, that is much nicer than what I'm wearing."
Well, it is much nicer than what I'm wearing. That's looking at the armor. Needs itself a good wash, though. But again, if one of your company could accompany me while we ride over to the other camps,
I'll
I'll
go
come
with
with
you.
help convince anybody who needs it. If the two of you join, I'm certain that will help.
Magnus just looks up and shrugs.
Sir Roland,
Sormador, yes.
I spent a week of fighting the same type of undead up in Rakathun for a week.
So then you're telling me this is happening in even as far away as how did you? No, I'm not even going to ask.
I don't even know how I got there.
This is definitely.
And I look at our raccoon.
Don't look at me. I don't know how I got here either.
The raccoon? Possibly divine intervention. Maybe we should ask Edemir.
I'm a druid, not a priest, so don't know too much about the divine.
True. Mayhap Temmelt would know something about it.
I suspect it was a botched summoning for a hero, but I don't know. I was in Quetch not a week ago, so I'm not even sure where we are. I know the name, but I couldn't point it at on a map, so.
Well, if the two of you will accompany me, let us go talk to the Marquis.
Zara, prestidigitate yourself clean.
Could you do that for me too, please?
She will prestidigitate her clean as well.
Thank you. After all, I was dying not half an hour ago.
Excellent. On that note, we've been going for a little while, so we're going to take a short rest. We'll be back in roughly 10 minutes, so people get the time for bio, coffee, and that sort of thing. We shall see you all very soon.
might as well rock and roll. I woke up in the morning, into my dreaming, longing and I'm yearning, 'cause I don't know what I'm feeling. The voice on the radio said the world is ending. You wanna hear what I say? Yeah, I'm tired of pretending. Is this all there is? Is this all there is? There must be more than this. If it ain't so, we might as well rock and roll. We might as well rock and roll. Watching over me, save me from the
There you go.
There we are. Welcome back, everyone. Slightly longer break than planned, but that's what happens when you have a small dog living with you. Sometimes the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. So we are back to it. I believe Zara and Marisol were about to accompany Roland up to the marquee.
That's right.
Very well. So yeah, riding over. It's not a long ride. Maybe 2 minutes. It's just regular walking pace for the horses. Riding any faster is difficult now due to the amount of debris and corpses and fortifications and general chaos of this very large battlefield. You see ravens now and crows and other birds of scavenging birds and creatures are circling the massive amounts of bodies now on the field. It's difficult to say how many zombies and skeletons attacked you, but it must have been in the thousands. And to the great annoyance of everybody involved, they have not disintegrated. They're riding up onto the small hill with the old fort. You can see the Marquis himself sitting atop his horse, dressed in silvered plate armor. Got a battle axe hanging from his belt, obviously very well crafted of some unknown material, and a mace hanging from the other side. You can't see any shield, but you can see he has 2 different lances as well, carried by a squire. Marquis himself is in his 50s, short donut type beard and mustache, long hair, currently held back in a ponytail. He gives you a serious look as you come riding up. You must be Captain Barlow and the others, Roland, recommended for special tasks. It is a pleasure to see you, Captain Barlow, and I hear that you went to the aid of Count Claudio.
Yes, my lord, but unfortunately we were too late.
Well, seeing what we were attacked by, it is understandable. The Count was getting on in years, and his bodyguard, while skilled, were few. The type of arcane attack and wizards and ghosts and other shenanigans. Hard to. Anybody would be hard pressed to defend themselves.
They obviously stood their ground. But yeah, as you said, it was too much.
Well, your advice earlier this morning saved a lot of lives, fortifying the beach and the rivers and being ready for an attack from the water. That could have gone much, much worse.
Well, keep that in mind for this next suggestion. The desecrated Raven Guard knights. We need to make sure that we go around and gather up every set of armor that they had. Whatever ritual is used to create those grave guard curses the armor. I'm not certain what will happen if somebody is foolish enough to wear it, but we need to ensure that it doesn't happen to any of our soldiers.
Give us a diplomacy roll there, either from Sarah or from Marisol, since you're both going there together. Well, I understand your hesitation as there's Alpen do, but we cannot simply destroy the artifacts of the knights. Some of these are from my own order of the Cavalier. We'll have them confined to the abbey that is connected to the fort, and we'll send for powerful clerics to deal with it, but outright destroying it, I couldn't condone it.
That's all we ask. Make sure that no one wears them.
I must say, your little company, the Dark Hedges.
Night Thorns, sir.
My apologies. There are dozens of mercenary companies here. I must have mistook you for someone else. The Night Thorns. You have done a great service to me already. Securing the body of Count Claudio is one thing, but securing the building where all of his plans for the logistics of this campaign were is actually a much more important task. If the undead had been able to get our logistical plans, it would have at best slowed us down significantly, and at worst could have led to catastrophe. I recognize the knight that attacked me. He was a champion of the Order of the Cavalier during my grandfather's reign. If I had the soldiers for it, I would have every gravesite reinforced. Currently now, all I can do is send a raven to the Black Guardians of Anku and hope that they will take it upon themselves. Did the enemy say anything to you before you sent them back to whatever afterlife they came from?
I looked to Sarah because I was way too far away to hear anything if he did.
No, but it does align with notes we had found dealing with members of the Ashen Coven, where they are attempting to recover the graves or claim the graves of various knights of legend and animate them into their service. So this is likely tied to those.
This is worrying to me. One thing is fighting common soldiers and peasants pulled from the ground, while an abomination and abhorrent to anybody who fights them. It's the blow to morale. If our greater champions from times before rises would be against us, would be far greater.
Not only morale, they are dangerous.
Exceedingly so, we noticed. If Patriarch Julian had not been visiting, fears many of my own bodyguard might have been struck down, but through the holy power of Yaupel, he managed to turn away several of the creatures. Close the wounds on the rest of us.
It might be of some benefit to convince the soldiers that returning the knights to their grave is the greatest honor that they could seek. That might help deal with their morale.
Right, give us another diplomacy roll. Well, we'll take it into consideration. Patriarch Julien will certainly have his own thoughts on this. For now, I will need you to guard the fortified building that Count Claudio spent his time in until we can secure all the plans and get a new marshal appointed for all of the support elements that will be joining us. Given the recent events, I do not plan on staying here for the full 2 weeks we had initially thought. We will march in 5 days.
Understood.
Some of our army will have to forage. It will be hard on the peasantry, but We cannot allow Ravensbridge to fall. It would give the enemy an almost unassailable point to stage further attacks from. So for now, rest, repair, get ready for the fight to come. I fear it will be a very brutal one from the look of this.
My lord, what do we do with the fallen? We cannot risk them being raised and turned against us.
It is true, we cannot. It will be a unpleasant duty, but they will have to be burned. The Patriarch tells me that the undead cannot return from a body that has been burned.
That's what I was taught as well.
You see the Patriarch standing a bit away from you all. Probably in his late 30s somewhere, with a massive beard. About 5'1", and fairly rotund, but clad in the plate armor, black and red plate armor of a follower of Yaupel, with the golden mailed fist of the on black background of Yaupel himself. He's carrying a bastard sword over one shoulder. Otherwise, he seems well to be balding, and while he obviously likes himself a good meal, seems like he can wield that sword and put some power behind it. He's currently healing the injuries of people coming past. There's a long line of soldiers standing in line waiting to come and be healed. Every time you see him praying to Yaupel and casting a spell, he looks just a little bit more tired, but at least one of the fancy and expensive rings on his hands is allowing him to heal people way more often than you've seen any other follower of the gods do.
Well, we have a pyre to make, I think.
Well, he looks back at an elderly lady clad in ornate robes. Obviously not of the fighting variety, but she rides up and hands him a scroll. Well, it would be fantastic for me to be able to induct you into the nobility of Nazans. It is not politically practical for me to be handing out noble titles currently. However, this scroll will show that you, Captain Barlow, and anybody that you can confirm are a member of your Knight Thorns are to be appointed and given the same legal rights and responsibilities as a noble in the March of Nozans.
Thank you, my lord.
Well, I wish I could do more. I would be foolish to be handing out noble titles currently during the fighting. The Council of Nobles already is fractious. I cannot risk a civil war on top of these hordes of unliving.
We accept pay increases.
However, please give my regards to Sir Mador and tell him that it is on behalf of the Grand Master of the Order of the Raven Guard my great honor to appoint him a full knight of the Raven Guard with the rights and responsibilities that entails. He has also been given a plot of land outside of Raven's Bridge. It is not rich, but it should provide at least enough income to him that he can hold armor and horse and maybe some men at arms if time is spent building it up. And there will be a proper ceremony once we have taken Ravensbridge, broken the siege of Ravensbridge.
I will make sure to tell him.
Excellent. If you excuse me, Captain Barlow, I have many other captains I must speak to.
Of course, I understand. Thank you for your time. I bow and turn my horse.
Right. Riding back to camp. I'll let any of you that have any scenes you want to be doing with each other do that currently. I need to half a minute to write out a little message here.
Well, Preacher is busily laying out the friendly soldiers, fallen ones, below the small hill, as well as Count Claudio, trying to make sure that they are not, well, they are put away slightly from the otherwise carnage scene up here on the hill. Then pondering what the hell we're going to do to try and clean up the house.
I am wondering how we can make such a big pyre and do everything we need to do.
I'm
Maybe.
taking a nap.
Maybe we need to scatter them into smaller pyres rather than have one large one. It's going to be quite destructive.
Yes, and the Count should definitely be sent up with all due respect. Major?
Yep.
Or should I say Sir Knight? I was informed by the Marquis that you are now a full knight of the Ravensguard, with a plot of land. Not much, but enough to get you started. Hold a few men at arms.
Okay, I guess.
Congratulations, sir.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Maris.
Heroism with a paycheck.
I don't object to that.
And we will be riding in 5 days. We're not staying here longer than we have to. And also, we are not noble, but we are given the same rights as the nobility for this campaign.
The only thing I can really think of that would affect is right to refuse service to a noble, something that could have gotten us in trouble at some point, and probably dealing with using noble house heraldry that we were cautioned about early in our campaign. There
It
might
al-
be more flex.
It also gives us the right to a fair and proper trial if something should happen.
I'll be dead before I'll be in a cage.
Miss Mayhem, I mean Marisol, did you get that in writing?
I have the scroll here.
Oh, good.
Always get promises in writing. It's a good thing.
Right. What is EOD currently doing?
I was looking around to see if there was any obvious magical interference or anything going around the camp. With
Right,
my
give
detect
it
magic.
your Arcana check. All right, Yodi's walking around camp, checking the various points where he would have inscribed runes and that sort of thing. And this the amount of necromantic energy latently in the air now is so thick that using arcane senses is actually tiring and unpleasant. But it seems unguided, whereas before there was definitely a will behind it. You're noticing that several of the undead are kind of resurrecting just from the latent necromantic energy, and there are soldiers and men-at-arms actually around with pikes and that sort of thing to just kind of whack him again when they start getting up. There's also an unpleasant amount of squirming and things trying to get out of the bonfires and pyres where corpses are being burnt, being dealt with by both pike-wielding infantry and crossbowmen or longbowmen, varying on which of the nobles has that specific area in their area of operations. Looking down into a large and shiny puddle of blood, Preacher sees the pale face of Calasir looking out at him. Okay. She speaks. He can hear her in his mind, like, Yodi, you need to join the side that's gonna win. The three that are one, they can't lose this. You could be on the winning side. You could get power unlike any you've ever seen. The three that are one, the greatest wizards of their age. We could build you a draconic body from the bodies of several dragons. You'd be the greatest dragon ever.
Iodi is already on the winning side, and I am also alive. Much, much better than what you are doing at the moment.
It is sad to hear that you are still deluded, just like Zara was. I thought the two of you, at the very least, would understand. I only hope that as your lifeless bodies fall down to the ground, the three that are one will allow me to bring you over to our side anyway. You must understand, I'm giving you this invitation as a courtesy. You will be joining our army no matter what you think.
I do not believe you, Calazir, but I feel that we will be meeting in person very soon, and then, perhaps you will have your mind changed for you.
If only you could see that the three that are one, they will bring balance. The undead, they will be returned to being what they should be. And before she can say another word, a boot steps in the puddle of blood and kind of disrupts her. Thingamabob. Yes. Face. As a man at arms, tired, bloody, and with lots of ash in his soot in his face, comes up to Iodi, kneels to him, and hands him a silver coin. Behind him, there's a line of soldiers from different regiments, even 1 or 2 knights that are all coming up to Iodi and going down on one knee and giving him a silver order, in some cases a gold coin.
Iodi's horde grows.
So, as a knight and obviously an officer among the men-at-arms walk off, you can hear them discussing, like, you think it's true? The rumor that if you give him a coin, his protection will be upon you? The knight answers, well, it can't hurt to check, can it? It's going to be expensive for a long campaign, because I was told you have to do it every day. And yeah, before the night is over, Iodi's amassed a fair amount of coin, mostly copper, but there's some silver and gold in there, and the patriarch himself of Yautl has been by and actually given Iodi a platinum coin, making a big show of it and telling everybody that the protection of the dragons will be upon them if they just keep paying the dragon wizard. Seems like morale's up a bit, especially in whatever area Iodi's in. For the rest of you, it's not a boring night. There's still moans and movement in the shadows, but nothing more powerful than a zombie manages to manifest from the amount of necromantic energy. Zara.
As we settle down in camp, I would like to take the greatsword to Iodi and see about getting the runes transferred off of it onto her hammer.
Well, that would be very difficult. I'm going to say that's a DC 25 Arcana to transfer them, because Iodi is going to have to try to bypass the obvious curse on the sword as well. So, probably going to need a bit more time. But he will be able to try again next day. Currently, the amount of necromantic energy here is so strong that whatever curse that is manages to resist Iodi's gribbly little fingers trying to pilfer those runes off of it.
Preacher goes in search of Magnus.
Magnus is inside the building, sorting through plans and notes and documents that the Count seems to have left behind. He's not entirely sure what they are, but they look important.
Magnus, do you know the battles in the place known as Valley of Gnashing Teeth?
I think I've heard of the location, but I didn't know any of the details of the battles, I'm afraid.
Especially pertaining to the gnomes and the wars?
You're going back a long way. I'm afraid I can't help you. I've not read any notes back that far.
Well, just had a flashback to a memory from that time. I was a general's bodyguard. Don't remember much of it, but there was another war form there. Don't know who. Not yet. I'm not happy this is coming upon me like this, but the bloodbath here in hell, it kind of reminded me with the gnomes, the gnome mage I fought.
I've not seen casualties like this since... Not since the Zabians tried to invade. I'm afraid I can't be of any help to you, my friend. We'd need a historian.
I'll see if I can find one eventually.
Aye. But if you want to talk about it, you know where I am. I'll do what I can for you.
There's not much more to tell. It's just a fragment, but it was definitely a strong fragment and clear. It was definitely a gnomish general and his bodyguard standing around. And I do remember a strong sense of, well, protection. I had to protect this general. But not much more than that.
It's
It's
very
on my,
interesting.
I can barely, I can taste the name on my lips, but I can't remember it. It's so frustrating. I need more information on this.
It's fascinating. I'd be interested to know who the general was, but no.
I'll find out. I walk off and start, I don't know, shoveling graves or something like earthwork, just physical activity.
Yeah. As you're shoveling, Ebert shows up. You can see he's had a bit of a day. He's almost more bandaged than Monk currently.
What happened to you?
He still grabs a shovel and starts digging earthworks with you. Well, I was down by the main camp, sir. Master Preacher, getting the extra rations we were promised when the undead broke out.
Ah.
I'll tell you, it was a bit of a scramble with the regular men at arms. Most of their leaders being up in these camps. Before I knew what was happening, I'd been appointed a sergeant by some officer or other, and spent the next 3 hours fighting in the front lines against zombies and skeletons.
Well
Luckily,
done.
your teachings gave me the upper hand I needed to survive.
Oof, we will speak on this night more, but for now, let's care for the dead and make sure there's no more added to them.
Very well, sir. He turns and nods to 4 people who come up and start digging. These are all men and women that, prefer the fist to any weapon. I have
Are you
not promised
putting...
anything, but I have said that I will mention it to you, that there are more that would wish to learn your specific style of combat.
I will consider it.
It is all I can ask for, Master. Many more should learn the way of the clay warrior. He shuts up and keeps digging.
I look at the small group basically standing there like, what the hell is happening? Okay, I'd go back to digging, and after surreptitiously looking at them a couple of times extra just to memorize who they are, and I'll take names later on.
Yeah, on the other side of you now, just wearing a boots and a kilt, and nothing else, you see Herko grabbing a shovel and shoveling the biggest rocks and everything he can find. Every now and then looking back to see if Sara is looking his way and maybe flexing a bit more if her face is towards you guys. Grins at Preacher. Like, well, friend Preacher, no artichoke beast today, but still a good fight, yes?
It was a good fight. That knight was a good kill.
Yes, I wasn't aware they came that big, but then again, his armor, it smells bad. I will not
Most
take
foul.
it.
No, most foul.
There we are, and you have 5 days of downtime to spend now. before we start up next session. We're going to end about half an hour early today, because my insides are about to eat themselves due to lack of food. Bad planning on my part, but that's what happens when you go drinking with sergeants the day before. However, thank you all for joining. Last week's session is up on, will be up on the YouTube sometime during tomorrow, and this session should be up sometime this week. We'll be back next Sunday at 1700 CET, as usual. I believe Marisol is pointing at something.
I think Magnus tried to say something.
I'm sorry, I did not catch that. Please go ahead, Magnus.
It's very quick. Magnus walks up to Marisol and removes his helmet, shakes his head, and his hair falls out of his queue and down his shoulders like the world's most expensive shampoo advert. Marisol, a wee word, if you would.
Yeah, sure. She has taken off her coat and stands in a short-armed t-shirt and just brushes off whatever she's doing and turns to
Magnus tucks his helmet under his hand and offers her his arm. It's about what I found in the building. There's a large number of documents. I don't know if the Marquis mentioned anything about the Count doing some sort of planning, but they seem important to me. We should make sure that they get up to him. They're currently in Etienne's saddlebags if you want to take them from me.
we should definitely have them delivered to him. They are the Count supposedly did a lot of the planning for this campaign, so we should definitely get them to the right person.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I'll go and check inside the building, and then I can take them up to him myself. No, unless you'd rather.
Oh, feel free. I kind of feel like I need to keep busy for now.
Understood. It's quite a battle here. I've not seen anything like it for a long time. You look a wee bit tired.
I am, but right now I don't think I could sleep.
You're doing a good job, lassie. You quite remind me of my late Brienne. She was a bra commander. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I go back to work.
Yeah. Magnus goes back to the building.
Excellent. That seems to have been the last scene of today. So we are going to let Mr. Tulmar, our esteemed streamer, find somebody to raid. And if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more of these streamers, you can find the Tulmar at Twitch TV/Tulmar. One of our other players, Shionkaisi at Twitch TV Shionkaisi, and myself at Twitch TV Shoggoth. For now, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and be well, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.